We're here on the beach today and we talked recently about where to go on dates if you're in the Philippines. And this would be a great place to come to a beach with your date, talk about things. Doesn't matter, there's nobody here. You could just be alone, talk. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. If you're in the Philippines, you can find a lot of naturist places outside the city. And it's a beautiful place. It's desolate, it's alone. And that's what you want when you're with a woman. You want to be able to communicate with her. Like I mentioned before, I've been in the Philippines since 2010, dating for about 13 years. Some very beautiful women, and I think every woman that I've dated have been very beautiful. I've loved every one of those women. But things have changed in dating, and we're going to talk about that today. Life has changed. Also, the philosophy and the situation in dating has changed. So let's go ahead and talk about it right now. People often ask me, like, why aren't you married? Why aren't you married? And the Philippines, like we mentioned before, there's no divorce. There's no divorce in the Philippines. However, there's some laws being proposed, and a lot of the Filipinos, they're pushing for a law that you can go ahead and get divorced, because not being able to divorce with a bad marriage situation can cause a lot of problems. One of those problems is infidelity, because if one of the spouses goes off and like just shacks up with another girl, and then like the woman's alone. One time a woman, she was married, but the husband left her and she had a crush on me. Can you believe that? She had a crush on me. And she liked me, but I knew she was married. And I said, you know, you're a married woman and I don't think I can go with you. And she says, oh, it's okay. He's gone with another girl and stuff. But the law says that you're still married. And she said, no, he's been gone for a while. It's okay. That's not the case. They're married legally, and even though they're separated, they're not still married. So the divorce law will really help people like that who are apart, that don't have a good relationship. Maybe the woman wants to meet another guy. I think since I've been in the Philippines, I've had like 5 live-in girlfriends, and they've been all beautiful, and honestly, I really love them all. I have to admit that since marriage is such a big deal here in the Philippines, it's a big commitment. And because it's a big commitment, I have made a series of tests to make sure that if I got married to one of these women, that they're going to go ahead and be a good wife. And even though a lot of these women are good women, the series of tests that I have is pretty stringent, and it just has not worked out so far that I've found a wife. When I first came to the Philippines, texting on the cell phone was the way that you'd meet a woman, that you'd go ahead and you'd contact her, that you'd go ahead and set up dates and meet people. However, things have really changed since then, and nowadays the women are more sophisticated, and also the means of communications have changed also. The days of just cell phones is pretty much outdated, and almost nobody sets up dates anymore on cell phones. Everything is done on the internet and Messenger. You have Instagram, you have TikTok. You have many ways to communicate and to meet a woman. With this modernization of communication, meeting a woman is much easier nowadays, and it's much faster too. There's 2 sides to every coin, and the women also have a greater options also. Even though the guys can communicate faster, the women can also communicate with more guys faster too. So that means that you're probably not the only guy that she's communicating with. She may have several guys, and she's probably going to pick the guy that best suits her, that is the best fit for whatever she has. Some girls want to play around, some girls want to get married. Everyone is different. But the girls also have more options nowadays as well. Also, most Philippine women, they meet the local guys first, the local Philippine. They meet them at school, they meet them at work, they meet them around their neighborhood. Lots of these girls, the first endeavor with boys is usually one of their local guys. So don't expect that you're going to be the first boy that this girl has a relationship with. Usually the Filipina has had a relationship before she's met you. Because the laws in the Philippines and the easiness of the way things are here, the boys, they can go ahead and impregnate a woman and they can just go away. And a lot of times that's happened. Sometimes a good guy will stay with a woman, but oftentimes a guy will impregnate a woman and then he'll just like leave and go to another province and leave that woman stuck with her family, bearing that baby alone, and also just having to care for a baby as a single parent. And this is a lot of the foreigners going to have to encounter this too, is a lot of single mothers, because there's a lot of single mothers in the Philippines. Also, if the boy doesn't impregnate the girl, a lot of times the boys go around and play the field. They have many girls they're chasing. And the Filipinas, a lot of times, are good women. You know, the Philippine girls, they like loyalty. They want a guy that's going to stay with them and not be a cheater. But a lot of the Philippine guys, they like to have fun and run around and try some new woman out. And it happens all the time. And because of that, the women, especially if they're a good woman, they're going to break up with the guy and they're not going to put up with it. And a lot of times that the foreigners going to meet these girls who are good, that have had this relationship with a Philippine boy, but he's gone ahead and chased other girls and they broke up. This is where you come in hand. A lot of these girls, they're fed up with some of these guys who are cheaters, and they're looking for a different situation, a different person, maybe a foreigner like you, and they're looking for a good person. And not all foreigners are good, right? I mean, I've met a lot of foreigners here that are bad. I don't really socialize with a lot of foreigners, because the foreigners that I know in the areas, they drink and smoke and they carouse women. They're not very good guys. And I've met a few good guys, but there's a lot of people and foreigners that aren't good as well. One of my ex-girlfriends, she told me she met this guy in Australia and she was hoping he was going to be as good as I am. And I wished her all the luck, and he came and met with her. And then he was with her girlfriend. And I said, why is he with your girlfriend? And I guess the guy just came here, didn't like my ex-girlfriend, moved to this pretty girlfriend and moved on. And I said to myself, I'm not like that guy. If I'm gonna go meet a girl, I'm not gonna bump her off so fast and go meet her girlfriend. But that's the way it is. A lot of foreigners, they just jump from girl to girl, leapfrog. And girls do the same too to guys, from guy to guy. A lot of times nowadays, the Filipina, she's looking for a foreigner, not just a foreigner, but a foreigner with good looks. Why? Because the women, the Filipina nowadays, they have many options. So gone are the days where the Filipina, she meets the foreigner and she sticks with the first guy. She has many guys that she could choose from. So you guys, we're gonna talk more in some shows about what you can do to be more prepared to meet these Philippine women, because they're sophisticated nowadays. Before, they would just take the first guy that pops up. However, things have changed, and the women also have more options. The woman is gonna vet the guy. She's gonna find out like what's the best guy for her. I've had women that liked me and I thought these women would never like me, and they liked me, but they vetted me. They didn't like me once they vetted me and they moved on, but that's okay. Why? Because it's nothing against you. It's just the way things are. And it's like that song, there ain't no good guy, there ain't no bad guy, there's just you and me, and we just disagree. And that's okay. Don't feel bad, just move on. It pretty much means that guys are competing against other guys for the woman's love. It's no longer where there's just one guy and one girl. There could be a lot of guys, and then the guys could have a lot of girls. And it's best to pick the person that's the best match for you. Guys nowadays must be the best possible person for the Filipina. He must take care of himself. There's lots of tips that guys can do to make themselves better, because they're competing with a lot of foreigners usually. So we're going to talk about that more in another show. But I'm telling you guys, you must take care of yourself. The first thing the woman notices about the guy is his face. The first thing she sees when she looks at you is going to be your face. whether that's on a photograph, on a Facebook or Messenger or Instagram or whatever. She's going to see your face and she's going to notice it. Also, she's going to look at your body. She wants to see what kind of body you have. You know, girls, they don't want just like fat slobs and guys who sit down eating popcorn all day and watching TV. The women are sophisticated nowadays. They want the best possible mate that they can find. Just remember, guys, the women have many options. You're not the only person. There's probably 10 other guys behind you. So you want to take care of yourself, and we're going to talk more about these things that you can do to make yourself more presentable for the Filipina of your choice.